I love minivans. I really love them. It's a big fat minivan. Oh, I love this thing. Oh my God. The beeps, the bongs, the yelling. Stop it, shut up! Hey guys, we are in every parent's wet dream because Kia have just updated the Kia Carnival. This is a facelift and it definitely looks very, very different to before. So today I'm going to take you through this facelift. What have they changed? Because it's actually quite a lot. We'll check out the exterior, move on to the interior, talk about practicality because, you know, it's a minivan. Of course we have to. Then of course we will drive this thing. And then finally I'm going to end on our final thoughts. Should you buy the updated Kia Carnival? Let's get into it. Alrighty guys, let's talk about the exterior, but first price, because across the range it's more expensive. Welcome to 2024. $3,500 more pretty much across the range. Starts at about 50 grand before on-road costs for the base pooper, and that comes with a petrol V6. And it tops out at about $76,000 now, which you might think is really quite a lot more than before, but it's because you can get this thing with a hybrid, though it's so limited because apparently Korea doesn't love Australia very much. So we only get 60 to 70 hybrids a month. So good luck getting one of those. But if you guys comment down below that you want hybrids, well, they're probably going to listen to you. This one here is the GT line diesel, and it will set you back about $72,000 before on-road costs. So quite a lot of money, but you do get a lot. Okay, so a lot to talk about there with price, but you got to remember that this is 80% of all minivans sold in Australia. So that's a lot. You get this huge chrome grille here, of course, being in the GT line. We get niceties like, oh, check this out. These new daytime running lights and very bright LED lights there too in the 4-gauge cluster. It looks kind of like an EV9. That's their new design language. Retains the tiger nose grille. Down the bottom here, you do get a radar, and up there you get a better array of cameras because this thing now has highway driving assist level 2, at least on the mid-spec up. Essentially means this thing will do even better driving itself down a highway, including automatic lane changing. So that's pretty damn cool, actually. Not a feature you see very often. Kia badge, of course, and this one here is in a deep blue, but it kind of goes purpley, which I love. Let's check out the side. All right, so coming to the side, what's changed? Well, you're going to see these 19-inch wheels here. They do look very, looks like you could be a lunar rover and have one of these wheels. Apparently it helps with aerodynamics, specifically for the hybrid, it's better. You get these Continental cross-contact tires, and they are very nice and fat. Exactly what you want to see on a big family minivan. Got a 360 camera there. This also gains new side sensors as part of this facelift, which is good. It means you don't have to curb your wheels all the time. I know you. Check this out. You got some pretty tinted windows, and you can't see behind it because there's also a shutter in there so your kids don't get blinded out. Love to see that. Got these roof rails up here. I've always loved this design element, so glad they didn't remove it. And otherwise, it's a big fat minivan. What do you expect? Let's check out the bum. Alrighty guys, let's talk about the rump derrière of the Kia Carnival. I love the new tail light design. I think it looks really, really cool. Not quite a full light bar, but they're mostly there. That's what matters. Kia badge there. You've also got a camera up here because now this gets a rear view camera mirror, which is pretty cool to see, especially if you load this thing up to the hilt, which you really can, as you'll see in a moment. Massive third brake light up there. Got the Carnival badge down there as well. And otherwise, again, it's a minivan. Let me show you how much it can fit inside of its bum though, because this is impressive. So first of all, powered tailgate. That's always good to see, especially when you have a huge lift back like this. Inside, the space is enormous. So it's almost 700 liters with all 3 rows up. By the way, this is an 8-seater in Australia. You can get it as a 7-seater overseas, but not in Australia. You can also drop the 2nd and 3rd row and you will get 3,000 liters of space. Mind-boggling stats. And even with everyone in this car, you could fit like 7 large suitcases and you're probably gonna be okay. So very, very impressive overall, as you would expect. And you get some nice features as well, like a 12-volt socket here in the back and some more storage cubbies. But yeah, if you are gonna be loading this thing up or you are planning on taking a lot of people on a lot of road trips, you're gonna absolutely love this minivan. Let's check out the interior. Alrighty guys, let's talk about the interior now of the facelifted Kia Carnival. What has changed? Well, a lot has changed. So first of all, when this first came out, they actually promised that it would have a digital display after a year and, you know, auto wipers, because even though this thing still came in a GT line, it didn't have those, but now you get that pretty much across the range. So you get auto wipers. We love to see that. You also get this digital display here. I mean, this is all new. So 2 12.3-inch displays. It's curved. They are very very good processors in them as well. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Finally, it's been way too long, but yes, it is here now. They've also done things like update the processor behind it, so it's something like 16 times faster than before. And can you tell? I don't know, but it is still pretty damn good. This display up here, it shows plenty of information. You can change the way it looks, but it isn't really any more functional than the 4-inch display that you would get in the base pooper. So it's more just aesthetic, but hey, that's what you're paying for, aren't you? Up in front of you is also a huge heads-up display. It's like 11 inches, nice and bright. It works well. But if you have polarized glasses on, it ain't gonna work. This is all new. So it used to be nice physical buttons, and it still kind of is. You've got this touch screen here. I live with one of these with a long-term Kia Sportage, and even though I loved it at first, it actually can be a little bit of a pain to use when you're driving. But on this test, I haven't really found it to be an issue, and it is still pretty damn good. So cool, it's just modern, it looks nice. It doesn't feel like you're sitting inside of a minivan. Well, actually, it kind of does, because storage space is galore. Before we get to that, 2 USB-C ports. You've also got a new Qi wireless fast charger. But in terms of storage, a huge amount of storage here. You've got another phone storage area here, 2 cup holders, storage area there, massive center armrest. The glove box, it's fit for a bloody king. It's huge. You've also got massive door bins there as well. So yes, you're not going to be wanting for space in here. It does come with a lot. You get these really nice faux leather seats, which is interesting. I would have thought that they would be leather, but I guess it just adds cost. They're heated and cooled here in the GT line. And the steering wheel as well, it has 2-stage heating, which is nice to see. It is a very nice leather unit. I love holding onto Kia steering wheels. You can control your autonomous driving on the right and your media on the left. So very functional, very well laid out. Also here in the GT line, you get this Genesis-esque shifter, which is good to see. And in terms of quality, you do get soft touch in, well, a lot of places. In fact, most places that matter. Some scratchy materials, but you would expect that, especially in a minivan that doesn't actually cost all that much. So yes, quite a few tech changes here in the interior. Let me know what you guys think down below. Did they change enough? Honestly, for $3.5 extra, I think you actually do get your money's worth just here alone. Let's check out the back seats. Alrighty guys, so I love this. Automatic door handles, super easy to get in. You could be a granny and you're gonna be fine getting in. So once we are in here, it's just a simple push of that, or you press this button here, the door closes. Now I'm 5'11", acres of space. You've got heaps of legroom, toe room as well as fantastic. Headroom is really good. It's got a grab handle here, but you can't actually open up this sunroof here. You have to come to the front. There you go. And it starts to open up. And I love the fact that this part actually comes off. So you get a convertible-esque experience here in the back. We love to see it. In terms of amenities, again, you're not gonna be wanting for anything. You've got a couple of cup holders here, a little phone storage area. You also get 2 USB-C ports in the seats, 12-volt socky wacky. You've got a massive storage area there. No real storage here on the doors, but you do get a cup holder, which is good. You've also got your 3rd zone of climate controls up here. So that's really easy to use. And you've got some fan vents up in the roof, and that extends to the 3rd row too, which we'll talk about in just a second. One of the best things about the Carnival is just its modularity. So you can do things like slide this seat back and forward, or the other seat you can recline pretty far back as well. You can even go so far as to move this seat into the back if that is your wish. You can remove this seat entirely if you want to, and it is an 8-seater. You can only get it as an 8-seater in Australia, but Kia tells us that really no one wants the captain's chairs, which are literally these chairs just with an ottoman and an armrest. So I guess you can modify it yourself if you want to. In terms of map pockets, by the way, you do get 2. So again, very, very good storage. Okay, so to get into the back seat, it's actually not as easy as you would think. By the way, you do get an armrest over here. That's pretty cool. So you pull this lever here, the seat slides forward, and then it's actually pretty easy, I'm not gonna lie. To get back here, I take back exactly what I just said.
It's actually not as easy as you would think.
Pull the seat back. Now, again, 5'11". Even with this seat all the way back, I still have enough legroom. Toe room is really good. Headroom as well is also very good. If I want to as well, you can also recline these seats. You get USB-C ports here in the 3rd row too. This air vent's nice. And it's a 3-seater back here, as I said. So it's 8 seats in this car. And honestly, you could comfortably fit 8 adults into this car. Pretty remarkable in that sense. You also get a couple of cup holders and a little storage area on the sides. And don't worry, 3rd row passengers can also be protected from the sun. Really, really impressive. I love minivans. I really love them. And across the range, you just get a very practical and cool car. Didn't mention this as well. If you are in the back seats, you can just pull this forward and now you have a storage area, couple of cup holders and some more phone holders. So smart. I love this thing. Let's drive it. Alrighty, mummies and daddies, you are You are far away from me right now, but let's talk about what the Kia Carnival gets under the skin, because there is something new and there are a few changes too. So under the bonnet, you still get two of the same engines. The first one is the 3.5 litre V6, which is its own cautionary tale, but I'll tell you why soon. It actually puts a decent amount of power out, 216 kilowatt of power and 355 newton meters of torque. And that's the one I'm driving right now, and if we drop a couple of gears, maybe a lot. Wow, the 8-speed automatic transmission doesn't seem to care what I want it to do. Oh! Oh, sounds awesome. The other engine, which I always recommend, is a 2.2 litre turbo diesel, and that puts out 148 kilowatt of power, 440 newton meters of torque, which is actually a decent amount of power and torque, a decent amount to the front wheels for both of these variants. You can only get the Kia Carnival as a front wheel drive, which does kind of suck, giving it submerging sauce here. I don't know why they've decided to hold this event in the middle of Sydney, but hey, you do you, Kia. Actually, this is a really good test, and I'll show you why again soon. Really, the biggest headline is that there is a new engine available, a hybrid. It's a 1.6 litre turbo petrol hybrid, and that outputs a combined 180 kilowatt of power, 366 newton meters of torque. The issue for that engine is that Kia's head office, well, they're only providing 60 to 70 of those to Australia every month, which is not very many. So they're going to be in really high demand, which will be a good shout out actually to us. CarSauce.com/buy. We have partnered with Australia's #1 car buying service to get you the absolute best price on your next car. You don't have to negotiate with dealers. We will do it on your behalf and for free for you. We just charge the dealer. But more importantly, we can secure stock that others simply cannot, because we have over 2,000 dealers that we work with. So head to CarSauce.com/buy if you want to buy a Kia Carnival or any new car. We will help you out, and it is literally the best way to buy a new car. Back to this though, if you guys want to see more of those hybrids coming through, well, there just needs to be a strong enough case for it. So let me know in the comment section down below, do you want to see it? Because I know that Kia's head office will be watching this video, and if we get enough people, they'll bring more of those, because that's the drivetrain you want. Remember how I said this isn't the drivetrain that you want? Well, there's a reason why. You see, right now, over 150 kilometers of driving today, it's getting 15.4 liters per 100 kilometers. Oh my God. With the current price of fuel, that means right now this will cost you at least $50 per 100 kilometers. That's wild. Wild. The diesel is actually a lot better, which is why I recommend it, because when I was driving it earlier, I was getting about 8.2 liters per 100 kilometers, which is way better than this. The issue with all of these though is that because they're front wheel drive only, we don't get an all wheel drive in Australia, which does kind of suck, I'm not gonna lie. When we put the car into sport mode, we give it some sauce, it just spins the wheels. Oops, I wasn't really gonna crash. Don't worry, it was a prank. So yes, in that sense, an all-wheel drive, it just would have made more sense. And the reason we don't get that is because this is really built for the American market. And in America, they have the Telluride, and they don't want to steal sales away from the all-wheel drive Telluride. So that's a shame. But if you do want an all-wheel drive version of this, albeit more expensive, you should check out my review of the Hyundai Staria, which, to be fair, is not as good as this. Oh no, I'm in the wrong lane. It's a good time to show off my blind spot cameras. That's also new. Very, very cool. Stop it! Shut up! The beeps, the bongs, the yelling, they really need to fix their systems. Really, for me, the most noticeable change is that it now has an Australian suspension and handling tune to it. It had the Korean suspension tune on it, and what that meant was it was soft. It was really soft, and that was especially bad for people in the third row, because under braking, for example, under pitch, the back end would essentially lift up quite a lot, and you would feel every movement in the back. Now it just feels so much better. This feels like I'm driving almost like a small SUV, and it is comfortable. So they've made the front springs stiffer. They've also changed the dampers all around, and it now matches the Kia Sorento. And if you remember our review of that car, we remarked about how much better it was, and it's so much better here too. The other thing they've changed is the steering. So now it's more of the Australian style, which is just way more direct. It doesn't feel vague or really electronically assisted, which it did before. It's like a perfect balance. And that is the single reason that I would buy the new facelift over the previous one. I don't care about the tech. I actually think that because of the safety systems, in a lot of ways, it's a regression to before, but it's the driving experience which is better. It's better and you notice it, especially if you drive them back to back. And I got to admit, I am still a sucker for this. Oh, this V6. It might be thirsty, but God, it sounds good. Don't buy it though. Don't buy it. That's my tip of the day. But you know, you chuck it into a corner, and yes, of course, there's body roll, but it doesn't feel terrible. In fact, it's weirdly agile for its size. It's probably how I would put it best. So yeah, overall, the driving experience is just that much better that, yeah, I definitely can recommend the Kia Carnival. And to me, it's no surprise that this does make up 80% of the market. Really no surprise at all, is it? All right, let's get into our final thoughts. Alrighty, mummies and daddies, literally, should you buy the new Kia Carnival, the facelifted Kia Carnival? Well, the answer is, if you liked it before, you're gonna like it now, especially because of the updated suspension tune. The way it drives is a lot better than before, especially if you're in the third row. So I guess if you're carrying people a lot, it makes a difference. I do like a lot of the interior changes, but I just cannot get over the safety stuff. It is so mind-bogglingly annoying. Thankfully, we don't get the eye monitoring, but that speed alert, which you have to turn off every single time, is so annoying. Kia, you really, really need to fix that. But otherwise, a small price increase and you get a lot. So I think it's pretty good. Let me know what you guys think though, down in the comment section. And of course, if you want to buy one of these or any other car, we can get you the absolute best price. So check out carsauce.com/buy.